beautifully played.
Similar to that last game, Butch, where Mahmood was driven a couple times, looking for that away movement, then made an excellent adjustment to go tighter in terms of line to Roston Chase, using the ball that nips back in. Uses the away swinger and has Chase caught that slip. England are all the way on top of the West Indies and dominating.
Well, that's a fantastic piece of bowling. No wonder Marcus Trescothick is smiling as he makes his match notes. Roston Chase here, I think, was expecting something shorter because he just gets his weight back here on the drive. The head goes nowhere near towards the ball. It just shapes away from him. And Jamie Overton has huge hands, and he wasn't dropping that hip height at first slip. West Indies in dire straits at 21 for 4.
Skipper Robin Powell fighting 43 in the last T20 International with his team in a similar position of danger.
Yeah, Saqib Mahmood just found that little bit of away movement. Overton did the rest. Chase perhaps expecting something a little bit back of a length, a little bit straighter. Just finds himself getting suckered into it. See how the head stays back. Weight doesn't get into the shot, and that little bit of away movement, and Saqib is celebrating again.
I wonder, Butch, if he was thinking about the last T20 International Chase where he drove Saqib, the away swinger, a couple of times, then Mahmood went in swinger, which hit him on the pad and he was given out. What a series this man is having. 8 wickets, 7 in the power play. Significant for an England team who months ago struggled at the World Cup, taking wickets with the new ball. 10 wickets in 7 games. It was uppish, but good timing from the captain. He's underway.
Again, Mahmood just being encouraged, I think. England desperate for their new ball bowlers to continue to think wickets, don't think containment. So despite the authoritative drive from Powell, Mahmood will not be discouraged from getting it up there. Just in case there's that bit of movement. The 2 slips still in place.
This start reminiscent of that first game of the series where the West Indies, even though they lost wickets early, continued to attack. Thinking about the shot selection of all the wickets so far, but obviously barring the run out, they've been attacking.
Yeah, which is a tiny bit puzzling given that it hasn't worked for them in the first 2 games. Similar situation, sympathies with not winning the toss and feeling that that has a massive effect. But this time, they're even worse off, 4 down in the power play.
Very lucky, but Mahmood is getting swing in overcast conditions. England are on top. 26 for 4.
A suboptimal start for the West Indies in this third T20 international. 4 overs down and 4 wickets as well. 26 for 4 in all sorts of trouble here in St Lucia as they try to salvage this series. England leading 2-0. Coming into this, England well on top. And of course, supporters here to rally nonetheless. Archer again. Wides. Any and all extras will come in very handy for our West Indies team at this stage. Yeah, contented Jofra Archer. The entire English setup will feel very good about this start. It's been a couple of years since they've won a series in any format, and they're eyeing this one down good and proper. Well, this is struck with authority. Into the off, sails over the boundary. Captain Powell to the rescue, perhaps.
It's an excellent shot. And now Powell will be hoping that he can forge a partnership with Shimron Hetmyer for at least maybe another 10 overs or so. 8, 9 overs. Not going into their shell, but managing their risk, still turning the strike over.
Yeah, the first 2 games, West Indies were doing a rebuilding job in the middle overs. This one having to rebuild in the power play. Yeah, curious in terms of shots selection, I'd say, Ian Bishop, considering what happened in the first T20 internationals. What's your thinking here in terms of the approach from Rovman Powell and his men?
Top order's given them nothing in the series, really. And they've talked about it ad infinitum, and it hasn't, up to now, been tweaked. But great credit to England, first in the field to run out Shea Hope. Saqib Mahmood played 3 games out here in 2022 in Barbados. No wickets for 96 at an economy rate over 10 in that 2022 series. But he's come out here in 2024 and he is an absolutely different bowler with great success. Great credit to him, credit to Jofra.
Yeah, the power play destroyer.
We're always wondering as a batting unit now if you're Rovman Powell and Shimron Hetmyer. Top order's given us nothing. How do we manage this innings? What's enough? What's the balance between knowing what we need to get to be competitive and ensuring that we have enough resources to get a competitive total?
Yeah, Rovman Powell scored a decent 45 odd in difficult bat conditions in that last T20 in Barbados. He was that top scorer for this side. It'll be interesting to see the roles they take, Hetmyer and Powell here, both big hitters.
Just love the fact that Jos Buttler's got attacking fielders, short leg. Too often captains come into T20 cricket thinking very defensively about stopping runs and not taking wickets. Short leg and 2 slips and a gully.
Eight off it, 5 gone. West Indies 34 for 4. Yeah, those 4 dots will be worrying signs for West Indies fans around the region and world watching this with bated breath. with the knowledge that they need to secure a win here to stay in the series. Well, it's been a turnaround of fortunes for Saqib Mahmood. Loves it here in the West Indies, having a wonderful time with a new ball. Well, they're hooting and hollering in the field, England. They've got their tails up here, and why wouldn't they? That last over was the only over so far without a wicket to fall. Leg bye given. Umpire Leslie Rifa. A nice golden bat around Shimron Hetmaya's neck there.
I'll be hoping he can play an innings of gold today because he got nicked off for naught in the first game. Just a nice length delivery outside off stump that nicked his edge from Saqib.
Oh, that struck beautifully down the ground and won't go. That is the area, the trouble area there where there's been a lot of water. We'll pick up a couple. th 39th T20 International, Leslie Rifa. This is Dighton Butler from St Vincent and the Grenadines. His second. There will be a lot on his mind. Shimron Hetmaya. His instinct, of course, is to go big. He's a big hitter. He's an aggressive player. But game situation requires something different here. Oh, this is uppish. And this is soft as they come. Another one for Saqib Mahmood. And the West Indies falling apart here.
It's what you call a set up and a set play with that deep backward square fielder. He got the height right, he got the line right. See Shimron Hetmaya on his toes trying to fetch it from outside off stump. It's not a great display of batting by this top order at all. They've given nothing all series. Second time in the series that Saqib has Hetmaya for 2 this time, 37 for 5.
Despondent looking. Darren Sammy. Floyd Rifa on your left, Darren Sammy on your right. Neither man would be very happy at this stage. It's the same old story from the first couple of T20 internationals. The wickets have been falling quickly.
Good short ball. He planned to do this. There's a deep third and a deep backward square. It's an easy catch. Can't control the bounce and the pace. It's one of the things you have to adjust to in St Lucia. I term it the fairest cricket surface in the Caribbean. Because it rewards good cricket. If you can play the horizontal bat shots, you'll score runs. If you can bowl quickly, you will have an impact on the game, and occasionally with the bounce, the spinners come into it as well. A woeful batting performance at the top all series from the West Indies.
Yeah, makes difficult reading for fans of West Indies cricket. It's a beautiful place. We are St Lucia, a stunning ground here as well in Beau Séjour. Hasn't been so pretty in the middle. We'll scamper one there and get 5 from it. So that's the power play completed, and the West Indies have slumped to 39 for 5. Pigeon Point, St Lucia. It's just a stunning place, St Lucia. It's got everything, beaches and mountains and a wonderful climate, particularly this time of year. It's a great place to visit. Romance is in the air at all times, and of course a wonderful place to watch this game we love. "39 for 5, the West Indies, under a lot of early pressure. And here's Rayan Ahmed. Haven't seen him in a T20 in a year or so. What a generational talent. Youngest man to debut in a test side for England. A gifted leg spinner. An embarrassment of riches at the moment for the English side. Rothman, Powell and Mario Shepherd have to negotiate their way. Powell and Mario Shepherd have scores in all 3 matches. West Indies really looking perhaps like they only know one way. Actually been worse and worse in some respects. Struggling to balance perhaps the aggressive intent. There's a bit of a cheer there around the ground. They'll run 3. To raise the spirits around this ground. Bring some levity. Having gone from the ODI series into the T20 series, Fish, it's, I guess, a question. And how you balance your decision-making with aggression and with caution and with understanding the game scenario, where you are in the innings. Fair to say the West Indies have struggled with that so far.
Yeah, it's a good topic of discussion, actually. They would have had the early message from the first game, and then after the second game about tweaking their approach to ensure that they have sufficient wickets out of the power play. It hasn't happened, and it's something that I want to discuss as we go forward. But for now, for Rayan Ahmed, 6 wickets in 4 games when they were out here last year. Economy rate was over 10. Obviously, he's got his brothers, Rahim and Fahan, the off-spinner who took 5 wickets in the Under-19 World Cup recently. So, good pedigree. 46 for 5. But good on Saqib. 8 wickets in the power play in this series, the most by any English bowler in T20I series, including World Cups.
1 wicket for Jamie Overton. For 27 his last time out. It was the first T20I. This will be a good time for him to come in with such a platform, having been set in the power play by England already.
Yeah, and he bowls a heavy ball. He'll bowl a restricted number of overs. Remember watching him in the Big Bash League last year, 2023-24. He was outstanding. He went to the ILT20. Unfortunately, was diagnosed with a stress fracture of L4. Not the first one he's had. He's had 3 or 4 of them. But when he does get it right, he gets on to you very quickly.
Yeah, he was also the leading wicket taker for the Strikers in the last BBL. He knows a thing or two about this format. Like by given.
He was magnificent for them. He was their go-to bowler. Bowling good lines, bowling effectively across phases. He'll be hoping that he can regain that form. And these young ones here will be hoping that they're inspired to go on to play.
A real piece of brilliance from Bethel earlier in the field. Got rid of Shea Hope very early in the piece. It's just all gone England's way so far.
And to be fair to England, they've made it go their way. They've capitalized on any mistakes the West Indies have made. West Indies want to go aggressive, that top order. England have bowled effective lines, effective length, and set the field. 1, to intimidate them, and 2, to be there to capitalize on any opportunity. So great credit to Marcus Trescothick. It's something, I'm not saying it started with Brendan McCullum, but I remember back in the day, Brendan McCullum was captaining New Zealand. 2015 World Cup was a good example, how he hunted for wickets. He was one of those captains, and he wasn't the only one, but I think he brought it to a national and international spotlight that we are going to go hunting for wickets early in that World Cup, hoping to set back the opposition. And he had guys who were swinging that new ball, Bolt and Southey, etc. And I know Butler's had great chats with the coach, who isn't here at the moment, but it's a really good method.
Yeah, they'll get a single off the last. 8 gone. The Windies 50 up. 50 for 5.
Ryan Ahmed will continue. It's interesting listening to Ian Bishop. They're talking about captains going after wickets in short form cricket. Smoked down the ground from Romario Shepherd. He's got power to burn, this man. Josh Butler had long conversations with Rob Key, the director of cricket, during his absence from the game, the 4 months he had out. And Josh, in interview recently, spoke of being unsure as to whether he would be asked to continue with the captaincy. Wanted to know that it was on the basis that not because there wasn't anybody else to do it, but because he was the right man to do it. He struggled perhaps in the early part of his captaincy career to really stamp his authority or his personality on the way that England were going to play white ball cricket in both ODIs and T20s. It certainly looked in this series so far as though that break and that reflection. Oh, it's huge. Such a simple bat swing. Rodman Powell from the crease dumps it over long on for 6.
A clean strike from the skipper in the slot and dispatched.
Adil Rashid has been Powell's nemesis. But he's decided that he's going to take a bit of a liking to the apprentice, Rayan Ahmed. Partnership 25 from 20, 62 for 5. Stunning scenes in this beautiful island of St Lucia. The success of Julian Alfred in the Olympics, 100 metres gold medalist, St Lucia Stars winning the CPL. And all of that has the stunning backdrop of this wonderful island. Backdrop not quite so stunning for the West Indies right now as England ring the changes. Liam Livingstone.
Rodman Powell last over in the slot, slapped. What does the Apex shot tracker say? 89 metres, a biggie.
And takes on the long side. It just gets over the head of Jacob Bethel. Bethel just made a couple of paces towards the ball, thinking that it wasn't going to make it. Power from Shepherd again.
Looked a little cramped for room, but made real good contact. And you can't forgive Bethel for thinking it won't come. That's the side into the wind. Such as the power of the man. He cleared it comfortably.
Well, we spoke about Romario Shepherd in the build-up as to his maturity and skill. The Apex ball tracker, 72 metres, just made it over that long boundary, over deep mid-wicket. Incredible opportunity for him here. He's never come in this early over the course of his entire international career. Batting first in T20s. Not only his international career, his franchise career either, so he's got a real chance to do something special here.
And it's one of the things I'd love to see him batting a little higher. We are stocked with your Rutherfords and your Hetmeyers, but if we take a leaf out of the book of most other international teams, your Mitchell Marshes don't stay at 7 and 8. Ben Stokes don't stay at 7 and 8. Can we get some of our batting all-rounders who bowl a bit, who good enough to bowl, with more batting responsibility?
Oh, that's glorious. Absolutely glorious. 76 for 5. 10 overs gone. Time for a Blue Waters drinks break.
The world's greatest sport awaits its newest stage as fight night like no other.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
The top two go off the road. Massive spin in the middle of the pack. Whoa! Into the barriers.
Back on the streets.
Charles Leclerc, absolutely brilliant. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Viva Las Vegas. That's entertainment.
From square on one stump. This is a bad shot from Evan Lewis. There's no other way of dressing it up. Perhaps worse from Nicholas Purat. Boston Chase was suckered into chasing after an outswinger. And then Hetmeyer on his return to the side offered up a gift to Mosley out at deep backward square leg. 5 down for 39 in the power play for the West Indies. More success for Saqib Mahmood, 8 wickets in the series for him. Jofra Archibald with menace and spite to pick up 1 for 23. And the West Indies are right in it again, 76 for 5. But if you're a West Indies fan and disappointed with the batting of your team, perhaps you could come here to St Lucia to drown some of those woes and sorrows. It is a truly stunning island with beautiful natural resources, clear waters, beautiful beaches, and wonderful mountain ranges of the Pitons for those who have that adventurous spirit, just like Carlos Brathwaite.
Hopefully more adventurous than I would be, but it is a very stunning spot, St Lucia. Probably my second favorite island in the Caribbean after my hometown Paradise, of course.
You surprise me.
Just before the break, Robin Powell showed his class over extra cover.
And I guess, Carlos, the question is, having been in this similar situation in the first 2 games, asked to bat first, knowing that there is going to be movement in the opening 3 to 4 overs, maybe 5 at the outside, how the West Indies have found themselves again, where batting conditions now look pretty good. Powell has peeled off some glorious shots. Shepherd has found the boundary, has found maximums. But you're 5 down when the partnership develops. It's just craziness. Look at it now. On the up, crashed through extra cover. But I repeat, you're 5 down.
And you know the quality of this wicket as well. It's your home conditions. This is some of the shots that you can play once you get in. A beautiful drive, almost a slap through cover. On the up, through the line. But we all talk about the chasing team winning, and that in itself puts a little bit of pressure on team batting first. So yes, you need to get a bigger score than you would want because conditions favor the team chasing. So that is the what. The approach is the why. But to be successful and to get a total that you can defend, the question is how. And they haven't found a way in these 3 games so far to get to the 10th over with some sort of respectable total and having wickets in hand to be able to make a charge in those last 10.
The other thing is that at this ground, 8 out of the last 11 games have been won by the team batting first. Now the conditions here are a little bit different. Most of those matches would have been 6:30, 7:30 starts, but we had an hour's delay. Game was actually a 5 o'clock start, so a lot more of this West Indies innings is going to be played under lights, under similar conditions to those that England will get.
Well, I'll tell you what, that right there is astonishing, because he literally pointed to the exact location that he landed and slid. So I don't know if he has cameras at the bottom of his shoes, but
Well, he left a stud in there. The stud literally came out of his boot and was stuck in the ground. So it gave him an idea.
We talk about awareness. Well, that is as close as you could get, and spare a thought for Rory Stopley. Something similar happened in Barbados, and he wasn't as fortunate. Thoughts are with him. He would have slid laterally as opposed to vertically with the way Overton slid. But either way, fast bowling in itself is a difficult job. All that force traveling through your feet, to then have to absorb it and slide and not have a base to work from is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Topley ruled out for the rest of the series. Problem with that medial side of the right knee due to that slip, so more misfortune. Problem with that medial side of the right knee due to that slip, so more misfortune for the big left armour from Surrey County Cricket Club. There's a big right armour from Surrey, who is enjoying his new lease of life back in England colours, Jamie Overton. It'd be really interesting to watch here from the halfway point onwards, just how much more straightforward batting becomes from here on in.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. One, there's obviously a lack of trust in the bowling unit. So they feel as though they have to score 10, 15 more for the conditions, and then 10, 15 more for the bowlers, or the lack of trust they have in the bowlers. So you're setting yourself up essentially. If the target winning total, fighting total is, let's say, 170, 180, they're all of a sudden giving themselves a target of 200 to 210. By the time you get to the 10th over and you're 70 odd for 5, the chances of even getting that initial 180 is slim to non-existent. So how can they take the surroundings, conditions out of the mind in the second innings, put a little bit of faith in the bowlers and bat what they see?
Close. There were two noises. I think he might go upstairs here, unless the two noises were both pads, in which case he's stone dead. Reluctantly reviews.
TV umpire to director. There's a player's review for LBW. Original decision is out. I've checked the feet and it's a fair delivery. Can we move to front on, please? Front on coming up. Thank you. The ball is passing very close to the bat. Can we go to ultra edge to confirm if there's any bat involved? Thank you. Ultra edge coming up. Take it back for me. And forward. Thank you. There's a spike as the ball is next to the bat. Can you take me back to Dayton on field? Dayton, I'll have you change your original decision from out to not out. You're on screen, make the signal.
So Dayton Butler has to change his mind. It's extraordinary because Rodman Powell took his time over the review. which gave you the clue that he had no idea that he'd hit it. Such is the size of the edges on the bat of Rodman Powell. He didn't feel it at all through the hands. It did end up hitting both pads, but he's saved by DRS. But he had no idea he was on his way off the park.
And he literally only reviewed it because it was the smart thing to do, not because he thought it'd be overturned. He was on his way off. And, oops, there's a little bit of a spike. Get a life.
Good bit of bowling from Overton with the off cutter that sort of skidded off the surface a little bit. But England make another change. Sam Curran comes in, a new role for him. No sign of him getting the new ball with Mahmood and Archer at the moment, so he's having to ply his trade, bowling the odd over in the middle overs, the odd over at the death. But of course is batting up in the top 6 for England as well.
Curious case of Curran. Sam, on this occasion, we'll have a chat after this ball about it. Cleared the tournament in last T20 winning campaign, 22 in Australia. Now with a slightly different role of batting higher in the order, less importance, let's say, bowling wise, because he doesn't have the tools they want for the new ball role. Where do you see Sam Curran in England's white ball team? Where do you see his skill set fitting into what England apparently want to build?
It's a really difficult one. Really difficult. So batting at 6, Harry Brook has to come back into this side. Got the likes of Livingston, who they're happy to give more responsibility to. And then, of course, his real strengths as a bowler perhaps get negated by the strengths of somebody like Saqib Mahmood with the new ball, or Jofra Archer's now back fit. So it might be that Sam, through no fault of his own, goes from being a pivotal part of a World Cup winning side to being a squad member, as opposed to a guaranteed starter. I mean, we'll see how things pan out, but just in terms of his new role, or his adjusted role, I suppose, in this 11 where he's batting up in the top 6, then you kind of bring Brook back into the side. You think, well, he's not going to play in front of Harry Brook. And you've got your new ball bowlers now, who they would like to be the likes of Mahmood, Archer, Topley. So the role for him becomes slightly diminished unless they can get him into the top order, top 6. Decent over, just the 3 runs from it. 86 for 5.
It's 23 combined runs from the West Indies top 5, lowest ever in T20 international history when batting first. This partnership has been sensible and smart, though. They tried to rebuild and take the West Indies to a respectable position. They've played Ryan Ahmed well. 2 overs going for 19. 2 guys who have had their individual difficulties against. All about the positioning. Intelligence from the West Indies in this partnership.
Didn't get anywhere close to it. When you come down the track, you're trying to get close to the pitch. Well, he got closer. But to still manage to hit through the line of it safely.
Done well to put Ryan Ahmed, who's into his first game of the series, under some degree of pressure, even though they've been losing wickets.
Fifth, sixth of the innings. Apex shot tracker, giving us the trajectory of the 83-meter hit.
Deep cover comes a bit finer now to deep extra cover. That has been hit so powerfully. I hope his right hand is okay.
I think Powell did well also to react to the direction of a shot and get his bat back. There's a missed opportunity, I think. Absolutely right. It came back very quickly. No time to get 2 hands to it. Just 1.
It may just be semblance of someone who's not played a lot of T20 international cricket in recent times. Mentioned earlier, it hasn't played since the last year's series here in the Caribbean. A lot of red ball cricket. He's been full, and when he's been full, the West Indies have capitalized.
Mentioned the missed opportunity last a couple of deliveries ago. Hit very, very firmly.
Curran just does well enough. Does he bowl another over after going for 3? We'll find out. 96 for 5. Right, Curran's over went for just 3 runs. Interesting here, Bish. Bit of drying.
Yeah, when the 6 was hit down the ground in Ryan Ahmed's over, Livingston fetched the ball and he was drying it assiduously. A lot of guys have rags. Obviously, we've had a lot of rainfall over the last couple of weeks into yesterday, and you can see the impact on the outfield with drying agent. And the ball has picked up moisture along the way. He came out to the Caribbean early, came out to Barbados, spent some time out there with Jofra Archer, Saqib Mahmood, and he started off in Barbados very well. 4 wickets in the first game, found some swing and seam in the second game, and here today again in the power play, being excellent. And I think we can look at different narratives across the series so far. And absolutely right, the West Indies top order have given them very little. I think one of the other things that differentiates the teams up to this point anyway has been England's bowling has been able to draw on greater potency, more weapons available. Adil Rashid with taking wickets in the middle, Liam Livingstone's off spin and wrist spin, Jofra Archer with a couple of wickets in the series, Saqib Mahmood. They've gone to Rehan Ahmed today. It hasn't quite paid off yet. Reece Topley was in, then he was out. Dan Mosley, Jacob Bethel.
Phil Salt was very confident. He's trying to communicate that to Jos Buttler, who's standing an extra cover. He heard nothing. He has gone the crack of dawn. Zahid Basra at third umpire.
Umpire to director. There's a player's review for caught behind. Original decision is not out. I've checked the feet and it's a fair delivery. Can we go to front on, please? Front on coming up. Ball is passing very close to the gloves. Can we get Ultra Edge to confirm if there's any bat involved? Ultra Edge coming up. Flat line. Flat line. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Thank you. There's a flat line as the ball passes the bat. Can you take me back to Leslie on field? Leslie, I'll have you stay with your original decision of not out. You're on screen. Make the signal.
Confirmation. Phil Salt was questioning whether it hit the thigh pad. Seemed to have hit nothing. Yes, that also has not gone down the leg side enough to be given wide. After we've seen that it's hit nothing. Deep fine leg has gone back to join backward square mid wicket and long on. 4 deep on the leg side. Setting up that shorter delivery. And just to build on your point, Bish, about England and their bowling, I wonder if they've found something in this series. Just thinking back to them at the World Cup, South Africa game which they lost, South Africa 63 for none after the power play, India in the semi-final, good start for them. With Saqib Mahmood now, with the other options they have back home, Potts and Braden Cars, have they found a dynamic duo in the power play to then set up Mark Wood and others to come with pace, middle, and then of course their back-end bowling? This could be an important series for the future of their T20 cricket. Good skills on show. 2 runs from Mahmood's final over. 98 for 5. West Indies, this partnership gone nicely, smartly, and a slight improvement in their strike rotation, middle overs. Will be a change of ends for Sam Curran, now from the media centre, and after bowling that 1 over for 3 runs. 4 middle overs for Curran actually in the series. He's gone for just 10 runs. Can't forget his impact in the middle specifically. Amazing the disparity. Curran's 4 overs in the middle have gone for 10. His 3 overs at the death have gone for 44 runs. Pick the floor delivery. He has really nailed that, Robin Powell. It's the first T20 international 50 in 14 innings. And the captain has played a real responsible and smart knock tonight.
And he batted manfully in difficult conditions in the second T20I in Barbados, getting to just over 40, backing it up here with slightly more pace in his innings, setting an example and saying to the top order, if you set yourself up, you too could have benefited from this.
Will be relief for him, but also good signs showing that he can still withstand the storm of some leg spin which he's faced in the series after being dismissed by Rashid. He's played it well since that point. And Curran changing the angle now to come around.
There is no wind at all blowing across this ground, and it's one of the things that all the analysts of the teams who would have played here during the World Cup, teams visiting here, talk about the possibility of wind. Shepherd talked about it today. If the wind is blowing, you use it to your benefit. That hit by Powell didn't need any assistance. Now he'll be hoping that himself and Shepherd can sort of drive this deeper for another couple of overs at least.
Split the two fielders. Geoff Archer as well. And it's just building on this Powell innings. Even Shepherd, who for the 3rd time in the series has given the West Indies impact in the lower order. I wonder how the top order reflects on this approach and his approach as well. You look back at the last 6 times the West Indies have batted first, they've lost 5 of them. And the places they played in, Dambulla in Sri Lanka, where the pitches had something in it, Kensington Oval a couple days ago, and you were talking about it in the last game. How do you find the adaptability in the top order players to be able to still score and churn out competitive totals even when the conditions are challenging?
Yeah, I find it a fascinating conversation. We've seen it time and again that the top order, when there is a challenge, and I've said it's not only a West Indian problem, it's you look at the T20 World Cup and how challenging it was for batting units. The bowlers had a good time and several batting teams did not cope well. You've got to have some sort of thinking process, thought process to assess conditions very, very quickly. Be brave enough to formulate a plan, but you've also got to have the skill. So thinking is one thing, that's paramount, but also have the skill to be able to keep out a few deliveries, be willing to keep out a few deliveries, and set a base for the innings. And I think two of those things still need tweaking in this group. The thought process, the assessment, but also having that capability to keep out a few deliveries that are spinning or that are seaming and bouncing, and then advance your innings as Powell has done here.
Well bowled in the end, but 12 from the over. West Indies going nicely. 110 for 5. No Dan Mosley picked up a couple wickets in the last T20 International, again underlining the depth, strength, and the resources England have. 6 options used again. This is a problem the West Indies have, where they've struggled to find options. Change of ends for Overton. He and Curran have swapped ends. That slower delivery got dipped and is completely outfoxed Romario Shepherd. He has reviewed it though.
TV umpire to director. There's a player's review for LBW. Original decision is out. I've checked the feet and it's a fair delivery. Can we move the front on, please? Front on coming up. Ball is passing very close to the bat. Can we get Ultra Edge to confirm if there's any bat involved? Thank you. Just waiting on Ultra Edge, guys. Ultra Edge is coming up. Thank you. Forward. Forward. Flatline, his ball is passing the bat. No bat involved. Can we go to ball tracking when available? Ball tracking coming up. Original decision is out. Pitching in line. Impact in line. Wickets hitting. Thank you. Can you take me back to Leslie on field? Leslie, I'll have you stay with your original decision of out. You're on screen. Make the signal.
Out given. Good slower delivery from Overton. Great change of pace and dip. Shepherd gone for 30. West Indies 110 for 6. Gurikesh Moti, we could almost call it all-rounder now. In.
Right time over.
Do they go short to Moti with deep leg side square field?
It's a top-class slower delivery that got rid of Romario Shepherd. Threw his shot way too early. Is there a distinction in the grip or the release? Held it in a similar manner to the last ball or the first one to Moti, and the off break. In many words, you could see him change the grip as he loaded up. Very, very well delivered. way through too early through the shot. The key with so many of these, look at the thumb. Coming off the ball as he starts his downward trajectory. The key, one of the keys to doing it is to ensure that batsmen who are looking for those changes have very little time, that it is obscured as much as well as you can do it.
Into the pitch, back of length again from Overton. This has been a great sequence of deliveries across the series. West Indies in further trouble, 7 down.
Hard length is what you call it, and you get a response from the surface here in St Lucia. And some of the batters haven't been able to cope with it. Very good bowling though. Not for Moti, 110 for 7. Alzari Joseph has made his way to the middle. And just knowing when to take pace off, as Overton did against Shepherd, and when to go hard into the pitch for the newer batter, dislocate his skill set, is a great part of bowling in the pressure times in this format and in white ball cricket. Freddie Wild on the left there, the analyst.
And I think this will be a quite successful West Indian trip for Jamie Overton, not for the West Indies top order. But when they think about Overton's 35 in the third ODI, showing his batting power, his hard length bowling, as you said, Bish, but then the occasional slower delivery, and then that dipping slower ball, he's got the skills. After a long time out with injury, great to see him back because they think he can play an important role for them. 111 for 7. It's always a great opportunity when cricket goes to the various islands around the Caribbean, and great for the students of Dunatar School in Castries to take in this crucial third T20I. Saw Darren Sammy yesterday actually sending a message to them at practice. He sent it in patois to the students and wanted to implore that they come to the game and get to see this West Indies team in action. Their teachers and volunteers accompanying them as well. Spinney there, lovely, smiling. This is what cricket can bring out of you, and the CWI director Louise Victor Frederick there as well, especially inviting the guests.
Can Powell marshal this innings to the very end with Alzari, Akil Hussain to come, Terence Hines as an all-round package? Or can Archer create further inroads? Carlos Brathwaite alongside me. What have you made of Jofra so far on this tour?
I thought he's bowled excellently without reward on most occasions, and you think back even to this power play, a lot of pressure was built from his end. Shahid Mahmood reaped the rewards. So when you're looking at stats and purely stats, this series won't reflect the effort and the quality that he's produced.
Steep bounce.
I was trying to formulate a kind of comparison, and you would tell me if this is accurate. Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh. You'd always remember these spells uncomfortable for batters playing and missing prodigious seam movement. And Courtney Walsh would just come, nice little in-swinger, out-swinger, take the edge. And more often than not, he might reap the rewards, obviously with great skill, great planning and execution, but he reaped the rewards of the pressure built by Sir Curtly Ambrose.
Yeah, they were a fascinating combination, actually. Sir Curtly was less experimental with his bowling. He would not give you a drive willingly, for example, as an attitude, even if sometimes a batsman was susceptible. Courtney was more experimental. He would have his slower delivery coming at you. He would bowl different lines, change up his length. And I think in their own ways, they built pressure. Courtney could build pressure when he chose to. But he was just more willing to change things up. And they worked very well as a combination for so very long. Excellent pair, 113 for 7. An opportunity to bowl his full 4 overs. Not enough distance. And another important wicket for Overton and for England. The set batter, the captain, Powell, falls.
Pace on this time, catching the bottom of the bat. Bethel wide-eyed, focused and poaching. A relatively easy catch. Good knock from the skipper. Potentially not enough. 54 for him, 113 for 8, the West Indies.
Akil Hussain replaces Rodman Powell.
Jamie Overton has been cross-seam for majority of his deliveries, whether it be pace on or slow ball, and another cross-seam delivery, a little fuller in length. Just wonder if it beat Rodman Powell for pace a bit. He was a little bit late, taking the bottom as he looks at his bat in disgust. But elation for Bethel, for Overton, for England on the cusp of a series victory.
100 T20 wickets for Overton. Having had a few stress fractures myself, nothing more pleasing. That's why I have a lot of empathy for guys like Overton, like Reece Topley, with the injuries they've had to go through. It's 3, 4, maybe 5 times he's had stress fractures. L4 in the last occasion post the ILT20 this year. Great to see him back to some semblance of fitness with the ball, because I think he rushes when he goes into the pitch, because he's a tall man. He climbs onto you a little bit quicker than you think.
Yeah, play with him at ILT20, and the thud that the ball makes when it hits the pitch, even in the warm-up, he has the full package. Tall, hits the deck with the bat, can smash it a mile, and can bowl in all phases as well.
It's a valuable shot from Alzari Joseph. Yep, the umpire doesn't need to signal, he has.
Getting deep in the crease, Alzari, and nice swing. He'll tell you his prowess as a test batter. Definitely has batting ability, and it's all on show in that stroke.
I thought that was coming with a field that he had set with the deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a fine leg. Very little room and margin to pitch the ball up unless you're absolutely sure you're going to nail it, because you've got mid-off and mid-on in position. No one deep down the ground.
That's been one of the highlights of Jos Buttler's captaincy in this series.
Valiant effort, he was tracking it. Will Jackson hit the bottom of the bat.
But I think that's what this field creates as well, because that isn't short by any stretch of imagination. But because of the pace and because of what you think is coming, the weight is on the back foot. So you actually can't maximize long off and long on, or the absence of those fielders. It's a quite clever tactic. It goes back to what I was trying to make the point before. The commitment to a plan and setting the field, even though it might look unorthodox. You had an open cover region and a reinforcement on the leg side. They set the fields in the both of them.
Change the field forward, last ball, deep third came up, long on. Went down into position. 1, 2 for 8. Two overs left in the innings. Big problems for the West Indies. 122 for 8 if you just joined us. 5 down in the power play. Shakib again, very good. Backed up by Overton. Outstanding. Archer's played his part. Curran. Archer bowled out, Saqib bowled out, Overton bowled out. wonder who bowls the last over.
It'll be good to watch Sam Curran and the other England bowlers go about the work in the back end. We call this phase of play the death overs. Last 5 overs or so, when batters are coming at you, what are your plans? I think the England bowlers have been very good in this series so far, just committing to a plan and executing. And if there's one area that West Indies, rather international team or at the lower level, can learn, is how to close out a game. I think we got enough stocks with our opening bowlers, middle overs, but how can we create some more death bowlers, guys who are happy and adept to just execute a wide plan, a Yorker plan, and just be really disciplined at the back end. Leg buys on this occasion. Curran sliding down the leg side, not getting bat on it, Akhil Hussain, but 4 valuable runs to the West Indies.
Not enough power on that, and falls short. Mentioned 1 over to be bowled by someone other than Archer and Saqib and Overton, who have bowled out. We saw Dan Mosley bowl late in the innings in Barbados with those fast Yorkers, attempted Yorkers. Hasn't bowled a single over yet in this game.
And we see this tactic from captains trying to get teams bowled out. You think back to the World Cup and New Zealand paid for it. Can West Indies exact some damage in the final 6 deliveries, regardless of who bowls it?
Very good Yorker. Lowest score successfully defended in T20Is at this ground was 145 by the West Indies against Australia back in 2021. Top shot. Top shot to end the 19th over, 135 for 8.
Good thinking, giving himself some room, Akhil Hussain. Ball at those 3 sticks if you dare, and he did. And expertly smashed over cover. Beautiful cricket shot, loved by all and sundry.
England have been very good from the first over. They'll be hoping that they're very good in the last over. Dan Mosley. Can bowl those fast darts. Mentioned that at Warwickshire, he said to his captain, I don't mind bowling against right or left-handers. I'm not just a matchup bowler. I want to be able to bowl to right-handers because I think I'm good enough at it as well. He's coming round the wicket. Perhaps we'll look to bowl some of those into the shoes, into leg stump. Look at this grip on the ball. Misses his target by some distance. Not Alzari though, just manages to get it to dribble into the ropes on the damp outfield.
Yeah, met exactly what needed to be done. You can see Alzari planning for that straighter line, dragging that front leg out to the way, but good head position and able to access the offside regardless of line.
He went for 15 off the last over of the innings in Barbados, Dan Mosley. Damp ball here might be problematic, a little problematic here as well with all the rainfall that we've had. Errant through. Almost another errant through.
That's the face of a man that's not pleased. Dan Mosley picking up, and you always say just get it back to the keeper. And he perfectly split the two opening bowlers, who then had overthrown. Liam Livingstone was backing up. Could have been quite comical. A flick into the leg side for potentially 3. But 2 it was in the end. Alzari Joseph back on strike, 3 balls remaining.
Missed opportunity there as well. Not an easy take at that pace, but Alzari was a long way down. Very good. After that 4 off the first ball, he's come back well, Mosley. 4 to start the over, 4 to end the over. And the West Indies finish on 145 for 8. What a good bowling effort from Saqib Mahmood and Jofra Archer to start Overton in the middle and end phase. 2 good shots by Alzari Joseph.
And you could hear the cry of anguish from Dan Mosley. 5 down in the power play. West Indies will be happy with 145 for 8. You'd think it's not enough, but it's enough to give themselves a chance if all goes well in their power play.
Get a chance now to see if Alzari can bring anything with the ball in hand, but Lewis, Hope, Puran, Chase, Hetmeyer disappointing again. I wonder how they reflect on how this series has gone, how open and frank they are with themselves. Single figures for the top 5. And then Powell and Shepherd gave some respectability to that middle phase of the game, and Alzari Joseph at 21 at the back end gave them 145 for 8.
Jofra Archer and Saqib Mahmood exceptional. Jamie Overton cleaning up the middle and the back end. His first block of 4 overs. Another tick in the box. Exceptional stuff as a bowling unit, but a tremendous start from the 2 up top. Finished well by Overton.
Let's join Alex Jordan.
Jimmy Overton, well bowled tonight, 3 for 20 off your 4. Great to see you back out there in the England colours and bowling well. Tell us a bit about that journey back from the stress.
Yeah, it's been a long one. couple of back-to-back stress fractures is not ideal, but yeah, feels nice to be back and body feels good, so it's nice to be back out bowling.
Are you regaining the confidence now, trusting the body again?
Yeah, I think so. It's just trying to build it back up. The last game I was just rested just because precautionary, just don't want to put too much stress on too soon. So it's just trying to keep doing what I'm doing, and yeah, the body's feeling good, so let's just try and keep going.
Looking so good, so impactful out there. Have they defined a role for you in this English white ball setup?
Not particularly. I think it's just to keep doing what I'm doing. Obviously, I'll probably come out of the power play, so it's just trying to hit the top of the stumps, trying to make it as hard work for the batsmen as possible, and yeah, just trying to keep it simple as possible, really.
You made it pretty hard work tonight, 145, a modest total on the board. Feel good about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it looked a little bit tricky early on. There was a bit of like tennis ball sort of bounce. So yeah, if we can get stuck in early, and then yeah, fingers crossed we can get those runs on the board.
Well bowled tonight. Thanks for your time.
Perfect.
So England will need 146 to wrap up the series in this third T20 international. Of their 20 overs at a rate of just under 7.5 on average. Well, we'll take a short break, but before we get there, let's have a look at the 400th international cricketer for the West Indies, Terence Hines, who made his debut in this series.
Hi everyone, this is Darren Hines, and this is quick fire questions. Anytime I ready?
Yeah, anytime you're ready. Who was the funniest on this team and why?
I'll say a tie between Rutherford and Keelosin. Those two guys are just ridiculous in the dressing room.
Who is the biggest hitter on the team?
That's a tie as well. I'll say Rovman and Nicholas Curran.
It's big, high, handsome.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Fearless, unpredicted, and ongoing.
How would your friends describe you in 3 words?
In 3 words, I put in 1. Clown. I always try to make everyone laugh and be that jolly guy.
Hit powerfully. This is the batting prowess he possesses, Terence Hines.
Who is your cricketing idol?
Idol? I don't really have idol, but I look up to a lot of past players like Dwayne Bravo, Marlon Samuels. That's my guy. Everything he do is just professional enough for me. I like how he be on the field.
Proudest moment in your career so far?
All this is representing the West Indies.
What's the most embarrassing moment in your career so far?
The most embarrassing? That's for the CPL. I bowled 4 for 50, so that was pretty embarrassing.
What is your favourite food?
I love pilau.
Are you a good cook?
This question is a trick question. Yes and no. Certain things I can cook, certain things I can watch, but cannot cook.
What's your favourite gym exercise?
Legs.
What's your favourite song right now?
My favourite song right now, I listen to dancehall a lot, so my favourite song will be TJ.
If I gave you $1,000, what would you buy?
I would help someone. I love to help people, so. I'm Terence Hines, and that was quick fire questions.
That's great. And putting fearless in these two as well.
The world's greatest sport awaits its newest stage as fight night like no other.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
The top two go off the road. Massive spin in the middle of the pack. Whoa! Into the barriers.
Back on the streets.
Charles Leclerc, absolutely brilliant. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Viva Las Vegas. That's entertainment.
West Indies top order committed Harry Carey inside the power play to end up 39 for 5 in the first 6 overs. Top order being blown away by a combination of excellent new ball bowling from Mahmood and Archer and some extraordinary strokes. This was a bit of brilliance from Jacob Bethel. Poor running from Evan Lewis, should have been a single there, but Bethel did the rest with a direct hit from square on. Evan Lewis tried to pull a half volley from Saqib and was caught by Jofra Archer. Nicholas Pooran was then knocked over, aiming an ugly swipe towards the leg side off Archer. Chase was nicked off by Mahmood. Hetmeyer back into the side gave catching practice to Mousey to give Mahmood his third. Then Overton was quite superb at the back end for England with a wet ball, hitting the pitch hard, mixing up his pace, and England's outfielding once again was safe as houses. So despite a 73-run 6-wicket partnership between Powell and Shepherd, West Indies only managed 145 for 8. Archer and Saqib were brilliant with the new ball. 1 for Archer, 3 for Saqib, and then Jamie Overton with 3 for 20 through the middle continues his comeback to full fitness with the ball. England very tidy, West Indies markedly less so.
West Indies have something to bowl at. The low order again has pulled them through, but stopping the English openers and English top order has been quite the issue. First Phil Salt, then Butler and Jacks. Second T20I. They do have Alzari Joseph back in, and he knows this venue quite well, playing for the St Lucia Kings last 5 CPL seasons, so they'll be hoping he can provide that bit of extra burst. But they will need to dismiss both these openers relatively quickly with a below par total, Mark Butcher.
Absolutely. New ball wickets, power play wickets for the West Indies. From the point of view of Jacks and Salt, however, the run rate required only being 7 will not be particularly devilish should they decide to take things on in a measured manner. But given the form that Salt has showed not only on this tour but against the West Indies in general, the chances are that he will come out all guns blazing. And Will Jacks, with his top score of the tour so far in the previous game, 38 from 29, will be feeling a renewed sense of confidence. Rodman Powell made 50, so he kept up his end of the bargain as skipper for the West Indies. He'll have to pull a few rabbits out of the hat in order to stop England from completing a 3-0 series victory here with 2 games to go.
All right, this is interesting. Usually Akil Hossain is the resident new ball bowler for the West Indies, but Romario Shepherd, who will be searching for vengeance, last time he bowled here wasn't happy returns in that World Cup game against England. But change of tactic, Butch.
Yeah, and I don't mind seeing it. I think what we've seen in all of these T20 games so far is that there is a little bit of something for the seam bowlers with the new ball. Akil Hossain, with the field back, brilliant bowler. He may well be the answer to West Indies' difficulties in taking wickets outside of the power play, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see if that happens. But Powell is going to go with Joseph, you would think, and Shepherd with the new ball to see if they can get 3 to 4 overs of movement out of this new ball before it picks up moisture and goes gun barrel straight.
I had a chat with Ken Crafton yesterday, head curator Butch, and he was actually making the point that he feels with a bit of Jew factor coming in under the lights, actually bowling second, sometimes the ball does a bit because of that tinge of green grass. Sometimes you can get extra bounce, a few to kick on. So we will see. Starting with a slip, Powell on the aggressive, deep point, and a backward square.
Yeah, and one thing's for sure, Nikhil, if you don't start off with 2 seamers, there's very little for them once the ball starts to pick up some moisture. It also becomes very difficult for the spinners to get any sort of grip. England's spinners wicketless over the course of their innings, and it was markedly different. Once you got outside the power play and the ball got a bit older, it was much, much easier to bat. England have only won the one T20 series since the World Cup in 22. That against Pakistan in England back in May. Drew 2-all against New Zealand, 2-all against Australia, lost against Bangladesh. So this England team will be looking to get back to winning ways.
First runs for Jackson. Speaking of that Pakistan team, Butch. Pakistan, that opposition, was the last time they've lost chasing 150 or fewer in T20I since 2018. 15 instances, won 14 of them, as you would expect. Such a powerful batting lineup. And 150 now in today's game, most of the time being below par.
Yeah, unless you've got a surface that is helping the bowlers to an extreme extent. I don't think this is one of those.
Shepherd had success out of the power play last game, bowling wide. Got both Jacks and Butler. Been tighter onto the stumps in the power play, looking for early movement. Just to tease the English fans, on that day 2022 in Lahore, when they lost chasing 150, they were 42 for 3, so they lost 3 in the power play. Maybe that's a secret for the West Indies, to get 3, if they can even get 2. Five for none. Return for Azari Joseph at a venue where he knows well. He's played 4 seasons for the St Lucia Kings in the CPL here. 20 matches, T20s that is, 15 wickets at 21 apiece. Won the CPL earlier this year. with St Lucia and has got Jacks a couple of times last year in the T20 series, bowling short. So on strike though with 2 deep on the leg side, backward square, deep mid wicket. You look at Jacks and the way he batted in the last game, but the majority of his boundaries were in the offside. Anytime the West Indies went wide, he was able to pounce. So can they be straighter with this field? And also knowing that Joseph has got him with the shorter delivery, maybe that's an option. Deep third and backward square.
Well, good heat from Alzari Joseph. First couple of deliveries, 139, 140. It's good to know as a captain that you've got a bowler that can push the openers onto their back foot, contest them with that short ball. Hard length, top of the stumps, not get driven back past them.
Well, minor victory for him. 9 deliveries, no boundaries conceded. Of course, no rush needed by England. Just 7.5 runs and over required to win the series, remember, folks.
Poran probably muttering under his breath, how did that not hit the stumps? I got bowled by Jofra Archer. Just had enough energy on it to get over the top of middle and leg. Salt is very successful against length deliveries in comparison to most batters in world cricket.
Salt haven't seen that natural way swinger and good bowling to the plan because he's got 2 deep on the leg side for Salt. For Jacks, who is a strong offside player, they've opted to keep the deep point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Always convinced, particularly when you're looking for wickets, that gully line, backward point area is a good place to catch, particularly batters who like to drive a bit on the up, like Will Jacks. That position out there is very much a run-saving one. Quietish start for England. 9 without loss from 2.
T20 internationals to go in the series. If England win this one, they take the series, which the West Indies did in the ODIs. Aki Hussain now, rare that we didn't see him bowling the brand new ball, will still get the new ball 2 overs in. West Indies yet to concede a boundary, so it will be relatively new. 6 of his 8 overs in the series been in the power play. He's gone at less than 6 runs and over. Great use of the crease, and again that offside where Jacks is so fluent.
First boundary for England. It's a high quality one from Will Jacks, not without its risk. Akil Hussain is always looking for that ball just to run on with the arm, try and slide it past the inside edge of the right-handed batter. But Jacks on that occasion kept the bat nice and perpendicular. Beautiful stroke.
Probably not straightening enough. Right to Phil Salt. Hussain set him up well. First T20 international, first ball of the game actually, bowled the drifter. First ball of the last game, bowled the orthodox delivery, which Salt drove straight to extra cover. So he used the field well, Akil Hussain, with too deep on the leg side to almost set up that delivery that spins away. Starting with the same field, deep long on and deep mid-wicket. So what's Salt thinking? Drifter into me, or is he going to bowl the orthodox delivery and bluff him? He's got him again, this time with the drifter. He is a master with the new ball in hand, Akil Hussain.
Well, Phil Salt's love affair with St Lucia has taken a bit of a dent. Like the orthodox delivery that just didn't spin, just went on after it hit the pitch, hit the shiny side. And Salt has a tendency to just give himself a bit of room with that front pad. Once it missed the inside edge of the bat, cannoned off the pad and into the stumps. He's got him again. Salt goes for 14 for 1.
Captain Joss Buttler, a scintillating 83 in Barbados a couple days ago in his second game after injury. Great setup, and I wonder how much that last delivery played on Salt's mind, as well as the field. Let's not forget that. Master. Would have maybe expected the drifter there, but as you said, the grip looked like the orthodox delivery, but it didn't spin.
Yeah, good pace, 94 kilometres per hour. He just snuck past him. Nice tight start this from all the West Indies bowlers.
Good intensity from the West Indies. Boundary in the over, but a crucial wicket, 15 for 1. For 1 will be a change of ends for Mario Shepherd. We know the difficulties and dangers with back-to-back overs in the power play. So starting from the media center end, there's no change. First over went for just 5. Did get Butler caught at deep third in the first game. Well, sorry, yeah, first T20 international. He's got a wide, deep point and deep backward square. Played a ramp of Shepherd last game, Butler. Maybe just a hopeful review.
Oh, it's reminiscent of a couple of the shots from the West Indies top order. This massive yahoo across the line from Will Jacks. Didn't hear anything in the stump mic. Jacks was through it way too soon.
Good change of pace, and good to see the West Indies going pace off early. Haven't really seen that a lot in the series where they're changing up their pace in the power play. But it's good build-up of pressure, and even you can see with just 145 to get, if you can deny boundaries, even though England are probably still well set here, you still force an error or force a rash shot like we saw from Jats.
Yeah, absolutely. And England have been under no pressure whatsoever in the series up to this point. He lost the 5 wickets in the first 2 run chases, so lower order hasn't had the chance or the opportunity to get out there in the middle. Could cause some panic with a couple of early wickets.
And deep fine leg went back for that last delivery because of the scoop that Butler plays and played it against Shepherd in the last game. So good from Butler. You saw him just stepping away and trying to open up the offside. The length that they bowled to him tonight will be so critical, Butch, because in the last game, that 83, so many of his boundaries, in fact half his runs came down the ground. They went full.
Excellent from Romario Shepherd. He had a good game so far. Really solid, sensible with the bat. 73-run partnership with his skipper, Powell. So it seems the more responsibility you give this young man, the better results you get from him.
Missed his length. May have been attempted pace off. It was but completely missed his length, and a good way for England to end the over, 22 for 1.
Asking rate still under 8. Very early in the innings, Akeal Hussain. And get through safely in the end.
Attempted back of the hand slow ball, badly lined. Not pitching, full toss. Easy put away.
Couldn't get there. Just before that ball was bowled, Nicholas Puran looked at Powell and the guys in the offside and said, look for a catch there. Almost came to pass. Did it grip?
That's the ill-judged shot Nikhil was talking about, and just wondering on the technique of Captain Rodman Paul running back, running face on, head up in the air, tilted backward. Could he have been side on and pedaling backward, give himself more of a chance?
She hope.
Just have a look at the body position of the captain. He's running chest on and then having to try to lunge for it. Just wonder if he could have made a little bit more ground, tracking back sideways. You do the karaoke in the warm-up, something similar to that. Made a little bit more ground, get a bit closer to the drop zone, then have that exact less of a dive.
Hit the gap nicely.
Good weight transfer from Jacks. Rocking back, had to get it in front to square. There's a deep backward square fielder. Once he missed the man at mid-wicket with his strength and power, was always going to be 4. Well placed.
Final over of the power play usually can be a tough one if you've got a set batter or 2 there. Jack set, I wonder who bowls this. Alzari has bowled 1. And he bowled it quite well for just 4 runs. This time, surely this time. Yes, he does. Similar technique, but he holds on to it this time. And Akeal Hussain outstanding again in the power play.
Captain catches captain. Akeal Hussain rewarded for persistence. Butler forcing it. Paul settling and poaching. kiss of appreciation and approval from Akil. 32 for 2. Josh Butler gone for 4.
Jacob Bethel replaces Josh Butler. It's a bounce as well. We often talk with Akil Hussain about his arm ball and his variation, but he will tell you one of the important factors is the length that he bowls it. Not only line, but length into the pitch. Hard to get under.
Yeah, lots to love. 94 Ks as well. The fastest ball he bowled in that over. Extra bounce, hitting the sticker, and quite uncomfortable. And there's your answer, Bish. Who will bowl the final power play over? Yielded 21 in the second T20I with Mario Shepherd. It's the returning Alzari Joseph.
Fascinated to see the field if Bethel gets on strike. And the reason I say that is because his default shot is that slash through the point area where Roston Chase caught him. I don't remember if it was the ODI or the first T20 in Barbados. Just look at that area square of the wicket. Who's in there? Hines at short third. Correction, it was the third ODI. I blame my producer, who shall remain nameless. It's a deep point. There he goes. Guides it nicely, guides it magnificently, well controlled.
It's a good adjustment from Bethel as well. That dismissal was slashing. On this occasion, he guided it nicely. There's a little bit more bounce St Lucia versus Barbados, and Alzari, a lot more pace. Really good adjustment. Shows for a young man how quickly he can adapt at this level. That is his shot. You won't die wondering.
Very good from Alzari Joseph. A little nibble and a fine enough edge on return to the West Indies team. He prizes out an early one.
Adjustment in length for Alzari. Just moves straightening and carrying on with the angle. A feather of a nick, and in true Alzari Joseph fashion, no smile, minimal celebration. That's the end of Bethel. Short stay. England 37 for 3.
One southpaw replaces another. Sam Curran replaces Jacob Bethel.
scramble seam of sorts, not trying to swing it back as we know he can. Just letting it run on with the angle. And Ultra Edge confirms. Wonder if he just beat him for pace a bit. Front foot not quite set. Still coming forward in that defense. And almost hitting the nick on the way, the back path, on the way forward. 140 Ks from Alzari. Just what the West Indies have been missing.
Little three-quarter seam again. Nice touch. You get value for good shots here in St Lucia if you can play them and use the pace and bounce.
Length on it nicely, Curran. Hitting into the ground as well. Shows you his weight as well. Forward, head over the ball. Played really late. The technique from the young man. But it's also the approach of shots like those, the 4 from Bethel earlier, versus the more swashbuckling style of the West Indies approach. In St Lucia, you can get full value. Hold your shape, play good cricket shots.
Takes some getting accustomed. It's been interesting with Alzari, Joseph. He loves the ball from that end, particularly when the wind is up. There's no wind today, but he likes eventually coming down that slope, and sometimes he'll get the ball to shape back into lefties and away from right-handers. Almost every delivery I've watched him so far, he's had that three-quarter seam grip. Same again there. So he's looking to bowl into the pitch and not looking to swing it. Power play complete. 42 for 3. In pursuit of 146 for victory and a series victory, England 42 for 3 after the power play. Terence Hines is coming to bowl. He's never taken a wicket in the power play in T20s, where he's gone at over 10 and over. His best work in T20s in general has come in the middle overs, an economy rate of about 7.5 and wickets. 16 T20 game, his second T20 international. And just watching him at practice yesterday, doing what pleased you so much when you saw him in that first T20I, looking to bowl wide of off stump, practicing his Yorkers, his wide, slower deliveries. But he's got to give something of a different length in the middle overs, I think.
Yeah, and I think St Lucia suits him well. One thing that he offers in those middle overs with a slightly slingy action, and I had a chat with him before playing, I mentioned it, one of the challenges I've had facing him is that it never quite gets as high as you think it would. It feels like he always rushes you and slides on to the sticker as opposed to actually getting up above waist height off a good length. So it'd be nice to see with St Lucia offering a little bit more bounce. How does that counteract or aid that slinginess and that difficulty of him hitting a length and rushing the batter? The England power play. Good start from West Indies as a bowling unit. Akeal Hosein has always been good in the power play. Continued again today. Phil Salt and Josh Butler, the 2 casualties, and then a beautiful delivery from the returning Alzari Joseph. Feather of a edge from Jacob Bethel. And 3 of the stars of the white ball series so far have been dismissed.
It's flown past point very, very quickly.
Full and wide, and thrashed from Curran. Like a missile. Absolutely middled.
Perhaps another option, as I mentioned before, is bowl a different thing. Use the pitch a little bit more to start with. That top of off length that we often talk about on this pitch. Oh, just as good. Top class from Tom Curran. Sam Curran. Brings up the 50 for England.
Beautiful. Elegant. The balance, hitting dong on top of it. Whistling away on a damp outfield. Picture perfect from Sam Curran.
Better, tighter line and better length.
This is potentially something he can work on. We're speaking to him about what his role would be in the team, and I know, for example, he's very adept at the death. He was talking about getting into the middle overs and then bowling enough balls then in this phase to be able to execute adequately at the death. One thing he'd want to do is to be a bit tidier in this phase of play, because in the back end, you have to appreciate blades will be flying. It's a potential to go at 10, 12s and over. So can he be a little bit tidier in the middle overs and give himself some leeway at the back end, which is the more difficult job.
Change of pace to end the over. 11 off it, 53 for 3. Roston Chase, tall man, he can get bounce here, of course, very familiar with the conditions here, having played international cricket but also franchise cricket for the victorious St Lucia Kings. Jeez, he looks in good touch, Sam Curran. He really is stroking the ball very well. Dew has been impactful already in this game. Nice little West Indian fan there. Well attired. 58 for 3.
Well, it's been a commendable response from the West Indies in this second innings. After a low total posted. 3 wickets gone, England 58 for 3 after 8 here in St Lucia. Gurukesh Moti replacing Terence Hines. All sorts of intriguing storylines going around. First time we're seeing Sam Curran bat for this T20 series. He's taking opportunity with both hands. Literally. But opportunity as well for Will Jacks here, I would argue. Mark Butcher.
Yep, just started to show a bit of form. So the pair out in the middle will know each other very well, but Jacks played nicely in the win in the second T20 in Barbados. West Indies will be having their problems now during the middle period here when they want to bowl plenty of overs of spin. The ball is collecting moisture from the outfield. Becomes difficult to grip, becomes almost impossible to spin it. But yeah, opportunities for Jacks and Curran.
There's been a lot of celebration here this week. The homecoming of the St Lucia Kings. First time St Lucia franchise has won the CPL, and there was all sorts of reason for Darren Sammy to feel jubilant. And, the minister, Casimir, announced the outer ground in Millet to be refurbished. They're going to name a bit of that highway after Johnson Charles, all sorts. It's back to some serious business here, though, in this third T20I.
So what's the feeling around the region about Darren Sammy being allowed to coach a CPL franchise and the national team?
You may have to ask the region that. Clearly that would have been cleared with the Cricket West Indies. So well loved, Darren Sammy, not just in St Lucia but across the region and world, isn't he? The manager of men. Not tonight, Mark Butcher. Not tonight. Yeah, he'll certainly be feeling a real come down. It was a wonderful, big event here. It's been a massive year, as you mentioned. Julian Alfred as well, been at the World Travel Market, their big Olympic champion, promoting St Lucia around the world. And it was this opposition, England, and it was this venue. They rained on spoiled the party to the West Indies in the World Cup. Have a crowd catch there.
It wasn't far away. Ball again. Will Jack's playing for a little bit of turn that isn't there on this surface. The ball just going straight on.
6 from the over. 64 for 3. Akil Hussain picked up 2 in the power play. Alzari 1 as well. Romario Shepherd's been economical. Good start, all things considered.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Akil Hussain has had Phil Salt's number last couple of games, and then Josh Butler won't be happy watching that one back. A little bit of extra bounce from Akil Hussain. And then Jacob Bethel just got done by a bit of pace, I think. Excellent line and length from Alzari Joseph. And Bethel was just caught a little bit, still moving forward as that ball flashed across his outside edge.
5 runs from his first, Austin Chase. You would think that Will Jacks will feel that he could play a bit of a role here, similar to the one Rothman Powell played for the West Indies in the first innings, where he tries to bat through. Sam Curran has started very positively.
He's played beautifully, hasn't he? 23 from 13, and not a slog amongst them.
But it just tells you how well the top order for England's been doing in this series so far. It's the first time we're seeing Curran. We haven't seen Dan Mosley nor Jamie Overton with the bat. So no, just having a look now.
Well, yeah, and that should give West Indies a little bit of solace, really. Pick up a couple of wickets here, you get a middle order exposed that hasn't had to do any work as yet. Perhaps there's a twist in the tail. Well, those wickets will need to come soon, you feel.
Sam Curran had a good series in the ODIs with the bat. So he'll come into these T20s full of confidence.
Well, he's a terrific batter. I mean, most of his roles have revolved around his bowling in the England team. The higher up he bats, the better he is. Just a question as to where and how England fit him in when they are perhaps at full strength, whether or not there is a spot for him in the top 6. It certainly feels that his returns are much greater the higher up the order he bats.
Really decent returns in the ODI. An embarrassment of riches for England. These are good problems to have. Men like Marcus Trescothick. But he's certainly a quality bat. I heard you oohing and eyeing when we were off air. Called it Gower-esque even. That's quite high praise.
Oh yeah, it's just a sort of a really languid bat swing through the offside. A couple of those shots, one off the front foot, one off the back, that just flew through the point region.
17 runs off the last 3 overs, so at the halfway point here for England, 70 for 3. West Indies can feel decently about that, and it's time now for a Blue Waters drinks break. England won the toss again for this third T20I, sent West Indies in, and they were in all sorts of trouble, 5 down in the power play. But a good knock from the captain, Ricardo Powell, alongside Romario Shepherd, brought them back to a respectable total, I guess. All things considered, 145 for 8, and England now in the chase at the halfway mark, 70 for 3. The captain, Rovman Powell, with a much-needed half-century for his side.
Was it ever needed? Top order crumbled. He came out and played extremely responsibly, showed all of the power and skill that he has, took on Rayan Ahmed, the leg spinner. And given a slightly better start, West Indies might have posted something way beyond that 145.
This may be a change of the ball. Wet conditions. And this is where we are, St Lucia, St Lucie. They call her the Helen of the Caribbean. So much was she desired by the European powers back in the day. Now we all come and visit a romantic place with a home of the Piton Mountains, gorgeous Caribbean Sea, all sorts of things to do in day and night. Having such a good time here in lovely St Lucia. So many visitors here who we meet every day in the hotel, at the beach, around in the restaurants, just loving life in Lucia. They'll be particularly happy here as England on the cusp of a series win. And Moti with the ball again. Good first over. 6 from it. But they need wickets here, the West Indies. This total too low to think about containing.
Well, indeed, yeah. And I think if Moti doesn't strike in this over, you might think about bringing Alzari Joseph on from the other end, try and get one.
When your future's so bright, you wear sunglasses at night. Enjoying the sun, no doubt, in the day, and have come out. There are some bright lights here around the stadium with Darren Sammy Cricket Ground here, to be fair to him.
Cut this single. Go!
Yeah, Will Jacks would do well, really, to show us his credentials again. He's been brilliant, of course.
He's searching for credentials.
Ahoy, matey. Yeah, some great characters around, aren't they? One of the many lovely things about this game, you know, cricket fans that travel the world to watch this game in a really wonderful spirit. Between the fielders, which should be collected, just still pick up a 2. Shea Hope in the deep doing the work. Bit of a game to forget. Coming into the T20 11 today. Unfortunate run out. Yeah, you can see lots and lots of water. Dampness around, really hard work.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the residual moisture that was there anyway because of the weather. You also got, as night falls, the dew forming on the ground, which the ball picks up.
And you've got 2 set batters.
And that's a problem for the West Indies during this middle phase, and it was back in Barbados. And they're reliant on bowling so many overs of spin during that period. If the spinners can't grip the ball properly and they can't get it to hold and turn off the batting surface, it leaves you with very little in the way of weaponry. That's why I think, should England get through this over unscathed, that Joseph needs to come back.
Oh, he's taken the captain with a screamer. The wicket was necessary, required, called for, and taken. The West Indies strike.
Well. Will Jacks gave himself plenty of room. He found the middle of the bat. He just didn't find the gap. Rodman Power was in nice and tight there at extra cover, which narrows down the angle. And he moved very smartly to his left to take an excellent catch. Jacks goes for 32 from 33. England now wobbling 75 for 4.
Liam Livingstone unbeaten in the last T20. 23 off 11, very handy. And he's in here. After seeing the dismissal of Will Jacks, good catch from the captain. Crucial. And delight from his team. He's keeping hope alive here.
Yeah, it's a bonus wicket, that really is. Moti just trying to follow Will Jacks, just fired it leg side. Delight on those faces. Not so much there.
Yeah, just as you asked for. Butch, Alzari Joseph already picked up a wicket today. Into the 11 after a couple of games off.
Yeah. Brought back to take a wicket. Where is that opportunity? Powell is in tight at extra cover again. I think he must attack Liam Livingstone here. Joseph into his 3rd over. Been brought back specifically to pick up a wicket. Will he get a slip in? Potentially a man on the drive, on the offside perhaps. Got to be looking to take a wicket here.
Yeah, and Livingstone's the new batter. Both he and Curran, well experienced. What they're doing out there. Livingstone would be the more vulnerable of the two at this stage.
Where's that slip? Here's that slip. You're right, absolutely right. Man coming to the crease, no matter how well he's played, most vulnerable when you first get to the wicket. Now, Zari Joseph has been building up a good head of steam. Just below the 140s. The 2 deliveries in this over so far. These two, Curran and Livingston, the second ODI back in Antigua that soaked up a bit of pressure, got to within striking distance and saw England home, or Livingston saw them home. Curran was dismissed just before the end, but between them they got England over the line, and they do the same today.
Wow, absolutely hammered. Well, it was 29 balls since the last boundary, but that's a big 6. Delighting the crowd here at the Darren Sammy.
Well. Livingston's first 2 deliveries, it looked as though he would come out to see off Zari Joseph, dead batting them. And then he dead set smoked him over mid-wicket, danced down the track. Goodness me, what a stroke.
You're so right, Mark Butcher. Everything said he was going to see out Zari Joseph. I guess we all should have known better. Chip down again. Aggressive intent here. Aggression meets aggression.
Livingston remonstrating with both officials. I think his point was that he'd run down the pitch and it still went over his head. That one on the apex shot tracker, 75 metres flat-ish.
Opportunity straight up. Poran's there with the gloves. He's put it down. He's put it down. He won't be able to believe that. And they get a reprieve here, England. Well, the West Indies can't believe it.
He overran it. I think he overran it. Poran got there. He got there no problem. Livingston again trying to take on that short ball, done by the line and a little bit of extra pace, but he gets there and then overruns it. It ends up hitting him on the chest, doesn't really get a glove on it, and that opportunity, the reason Joseph was on was to pick up the wicket of Livingston before he got himself set, and that moment has come and gone. 83 for 4.
Look at the reaction here for Zari. Deeply disappointed. He gets a hug from Hetmeyer. Right smile, but they'll know the opportunity missed there, particularly in this circumstance.
Wow, what was that? Lucky he was a dead ball, because had it gone on to Livingston in a roll, it could have easily been a no ball. All of a sudden, after a few quiet overs, the boring periods, as Carlos Brathwaite calls it, this is quite entertaining.
And there's not been many boring periods in this series, far less this game.
Good option. Yeah, he's had to go with a wet ball throughout the series, Morty, because they're both second in every game. At times it's caused him to miss his length.
Yeah, Pooran spoke very eloquently pre one of the games about winning important moments, and he would have been well aware that he would have let the team down in that moment. There would have been a microscope on Alzarri Joseph and what his reaction would be, and he gave us none. He walked back to his mark. Don't think he was happy. Neither is this man on screen.
That likely was another drop. And the reaction of Pooran and Morty says it all.
Big deviation. I don't think we need ultra edge to confirm.
Good change of pace though, Carlos. 90, 84, 92, and then 106.5 kilometers per hour. Surprise Livingston. We dismissed in the ODI series, remember. No short, fine leg. Joseph is all the way at backward square, so a couple of runs.
And these two moments, unfortunately, both Nicholas Pooran. Sympathy for the second one. First one was a bad drop. We just feel as though that was a chance for West Indies to get back into the game.
Will they go Joseph again and be aggressive? Maybe Akil Hossain. 89 for 4. .57 needed for England to win the series. West Indies were improved today in the power play. Bit of that, bit of England's intent being a bit different probably, given that they're chasing a low total. Shepherd bowled 1 in the power play. Sorry, 2 in the power play. First and fourth over went for just 11. Been a revolutionary year for Sam Curran actually, and it's nicely ending for him. I think we saw a flash of his ODI scores, and the way he went about things then was responsible, was very effective in the conditions. But also you think back a bit earlier this year, he showed another side in the T20 Blast where he scored 100 for Surrey, averaged 60. And in the series with ball in hand, for so long he's been their new ball option. Now he's been asked to do a different role, and in the middle specifically has kept things really tight and built pressure. So he's showing you flexibility. I will get there, and you've obviously seen him for a while playing a lot of your cricket in England, Carlos, but clearly he's showing you that he can offer you a lot, and I think Bish always says make yourself indispensable And even though he's been out of favour in the test team, etc., he's still showing that there is a reason why they need to pick him.
Yeah, and I think he is a picture of what I'd love to see more in the West Indies. A lot of times we get all-rounders and we pigeonhole them bowling-wise and a few late order runs. Good work on the boundary by Hetmeyer. To his right the ball before, to his left this one. Shepherd grimacing and a pinch of his groin, not a long follow through. Just to keep an eye on him and his fitness. Walking into a limp of sorts.
Joseph has brought a message from Darren Sammy to Shepherd. Six times Shepherd has got him, 3 in one international cricket, 3 in T20Is. Recently as the ODI series this year.
Just to elaborate on the Sam Curran point, I think you look at Sam Curran, you look at Ben Stokes, Mitch Marsh. A lot of times we have all-rounders. Call a few names: Shamar Springer, Matthew Ford even, and myself and Bish spoke about it. All-rounders who are good with the bat at underage level and all the way up, but find themselves in the first-class team because of their prowess with the ball, albeit not quick. Can we find more of a job for them? We'd have to reload that. Can we find more of a job for our all-rounders with bat in hand? Put some pressure on the batters from 1 to 5, 1 to 6. One thing West Indies white ball teams can do with is a 6th option that's proficient enough with the bat to be able to make the team as either batter or bowler. At this point in time, most of our all-rounders, we bat them from 7 to 9. Can we give them more of a role, potentially first-class level, regional super 50, etc., with the bat at 5 and 6, maybe even 4 on occasion?
Get back to it next over. 98 for 4. Great sign for the West Indies. Hope he's not too serious, because seeing his progression with bat in hand, he's bowled well. Last couple of T20Is. He has one of Joseph left, 2 of Akil Hossain, who we haven't seen return since the power play. Shamar Springer onto the field, and another all-rounder there, Carlos, who you mentioned in the last over. And you probably are the perfect person to speak about that. I mean, when you were in the prime of your career and you're still playing, in the prime of your career, how did you manage the dual responsibility, and also what role did you find yourself was best at playing?
But I always loved batting, especially in red ball cricket. In white ball cricket, I enjoyed bowling a little bit more, trying to outfox batters, and then as it came on a little bit closer to the end is not there yet, but tried to develop myself into a death specialist. But I do find, and I've spoken to numerous youngsters on occasion, batting in red ball cricket is so important for the development of any player. So if we can get our all-rounders, instead of batting them at 7 and 8, to potentially be a first change, bowler in first class or limited overs cricket, can we give them more responsibility with the bat? It would put a little bit more pressure on our frontline batters that don't bowl, and it would also open a few slots for out-and-out fast bowlers. And the way our first-class cricket is played, lots of wickets fall. 4 fell for England on their way to 100, 46 needed off 34. The common trend is to play loads of batters and then have an all-rounder that can potentially bowl the new ball to fill in. Can we reverse that? Change it culturally. Allow the fast bowlers to run in. Give them the opportunity to play a few games on the bounce with the responsibility of running and bowl fast. The all-rounders with the responsibility to put a score on the board in addition to their bowling. And I think if that was the culture, look at someone like myself, Jason Holder. Jason Holder flirted with batting at 6, 7 on occasion, probably for majority of his career. Could we have had who was the #1 all-rounder in the world for a period of time, batting at 5 or 6, take some of the strain off his bowling responsibility and developed a few fast bowlers. One of the 3 of them may be vying for that fast bowler spot. Victorious St Lucia Kings donning the jersey. But I think it's something culturally that we have to decide how we want to go. How can we develop fast bowlers? How can we put pressure on our batters?
You said something there, and obviously the T20 format was your main format, but you've got a first-class 100. You're punching me to say you've got 3 Test 50s as well, but something I think about a lot. Did the first-class system and red ball cricket, longer formats, help your T20 batting? And can we ask some of our T20 players to play more red ball cricket? They're struggling with that wet ball and wet seam.
Probably feels like holding a bar of soap at the end of a shower, and Moti's been asked to grip it and spin it. But the answer to that, the short answer to that is yes. When you're playing red ball cricket, you're facing more deliveries, you're developing the art of batsmanship. It aids your white ball game to no end. I definitely advise any player on the way up play as much red ball cricket as you can. I think the challenge with T20 stars, there's so much other cricket to play. You have to weigh playing red ball cricket and being compensated financially. So where do you go? How do you find the balance? Communication between board and players is mightily important. Even trying to get players to play 2 or 3 first-class games at the height of the T20 prowess can always be a real good reset. But I'd be naive if I didn't appreciate the finances on show and available for players in this day and age, and the propensity to want to maximize the financial earnings before the end of the career. So it's a fine balance, finance versus form.
Straight, big, very good from Curran. This has been a statement piece for him and his batting. 108 for 4.
Really good base, head position, and a swing through the line. It went straight, but it wasn't with a vertical bat. Almost a straight slap, but very safe.
Yeah, 66 for 1 in the middle. After they lost 3 early in that power play. Improvement, slight improvement from the West Indies, and you saw how much Joseph has helped his bowling attack. But the way Curran has taken on responsibility, added responsibility, and in the end taken on his matchup apex shot tracker, lift 83 meters. Yeah, finally, Robin Powell has been begging, you could say, for a change of ball. Adventure and beauty, hilly terrain. One of the Windward Islands here, St Lucia. A lot to offer. There's a bit of beach, there's a bit of mountain and hills. Of course, the cuisine and culture is there as well. You can finish your day off with nice refreshment, a beverage at one of the spectacular points, tourist attractions where Carlos will be tomorrow. Don't miss your chance to come to the Caribbean and come to St Lucia. And we do have 2 more games after tonight in St Lucia, thank God, coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Day off tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Saturday. And the West Indies will be hoping, very slim chance at the moment, but hoping that there's still something to play for in that 4th T20I. Good to see Shepherd back on the field. I think in the context of the ball being wet, 2 overs, none for 11 from Chase, and 1 for 27, even after going for that 6 motif. In his 4, only 1 boundary conceded between the 2 of them. I think West Indies will be happy with that, given the conditions and the wet ball. I wondered if this was the over, Carlos. Given the game is slipping away, partnership building, this was the over to go back to Azari Joseph.
Yeah, it does strike you as a defensive option. But as you said, the game is slipping away. This would be 2nd game in succession that Terrence Hines would have played and not really had a chance, to be fair, to make an impact. And I guess Robin Powell is saying you are good enough to play at this level. He's giving him the opportunity to make an impact.
There's that wide plan that he's known for bowling. To be honest, Shepherd tried to go wide to Livingston in the last game. He hit him for 3 boundaries to win the game. And he's quickly rubbished that reputation that he has of bowling wide of off stump, the way he's batted in this trip to the Caribbean.
Yeah, but even from that replay, like what I saw there from Terrence, it's outside of the wide line. You know the batter will come across, you get a little bit of leeway. I prefer to err on the side of too wide if you're bowling with this plan, rather than cheating, trying to slide into the stump. That one's a little too wide, but the idea and the mindset shift to bowling at the back end, if there's this wide plan, must always be, if I bowl a few wides, okay. You look at it in the sense that if you come straight and get banged down the ground for 2 sixes, that's 12. If you bowl 4 wides and then go for 4 singles, that's 8 or 4 deliveries. That's the mindset shift.
Wide and it's gone through Pooran. Does have the deep point for Curran, pushing the ball across him from over the wicket along with deep cover. Mid-off, or long off, sorry, comes into the circle with 3 deep on the leg side. Had a slit, so it's really good judgment from Shea Hope, even after falling, that he's still able to complete the catch. And finally, Terrence Hines has his first T20 international wicket, and it's a big one.
Reward for commitment. Wide of off stump, pace on this time. And a flash from Curran, a slip from Hope. But finally, a wicket for Terrence Hines. And hopefully this is a celebration that we can see many more times at this level. Sam Curran has been good. 41 off 26, England 114 for 5.
Dan Mosley has had work to do with ball in hand in this series. First T20I innings, and as you said, Carter's commitment to a plan, going wide of off stump with the angle and the deep point in place. And a nice celebration at the end, tribute to some of his close family that he lost during the pandemic. He's had that celebration from the time he's began playing, actually. As you said, even though the couple of wides in the over, he still tried to bowl his best delivery or his best ploy of getting a wicket, which is wide.
And this might be a slightly different proposition now because a new batter in Mosley. The game is still in the hands of England. We have the opportunity with a good 3 balls to finish from Hines and another good 6 from the other end to just make it a little trickier. So potentially you want to keep the stumps in play, hit a good length. So you have to change his skill set. Just like that. Good skill on show. To be able to commit to pace off and wide to the right-hander Livingston, then be successful wide to Sam Curran, who was in and taking the game away from West Indies, but then to shift a ball later, change your feel and hit the deck in only a second game. There's a lot to love about Terrence Hines, and he's definitely proven that he can provide an impact at this level.
Critically as well, made the save and stopped the single, which would have brought Livingston on strike. So West Indies could have 2 opportunities to bowl at a new batter. With pressure.
I think this over is the perfect example of commitment. You look at the bottom right to screen, wide, 2, wide. The second wide after the 2 was also a fumble by the keeper, which allowed the left-handed Curran to get on strike. But then he got a wicket. And then he showed his skill to not only go wide, but to come on a good length, come straight to the new batter. Got away with a 2, nice shot from Dan Mosley, but since then, 2 dots. And now you're faced with 1 more delivery in this over. Potentially want to keep Dan Mosley on strike and give him a single, but he's brought his team back into the game.
It clears Hetmeyer even without the win tonight. The ability of Dan Mosley, he's got talent. 1-2-2 for 5.
Hitting length again, but Mosley down the track. Hetmeyer was in the frame for a little bit. He's awfully far off the boundary, to the dismay of Terrence Hines. A little bit of relief for the skipper.
74-meter hit from Mosley. More importantly, it's a runner ball required for England. With 5 wickets in hand, West Indies have certainly bowled better tonight. And can't say the same about the batting. Akeal Hussain, who bowled very well in the power play. I thought they might have stuck him with an over a little bit earlier than this one, Akeal, given how well he bowled in the power play. But close to home, Mark Butcher, 24 from 23.
Yeah, that's 6 from Mosley, who was showing himself to have a really good temperament, both the end of the innings with ball in hand, wants to be involved. Trying to see England home here as well, in league with Livingston.
Hetmeyer drops it. Another one goes down for the West Indies after Puran put down 2 off Livingston. Might need to buy a lottery ticket tonight, Livingston.
He is living dangerously. More lives than a cat. 3rd time he's been dropped. I mean, the 2 in consecutive overs were absolutely critical for the West Indies. Puran was guilty both times, and this time it was Hetmeyer. Difficult chance diving forward. Livingston lives to fight. Another delivery.
Zari very fine at deep point for that reverse sweep. And just skid low. Taken this time by the same man, Hetmeyer, who missed the opportunity earlier. Akeal Hussain has been outstanding, simply superb all series.
We had a chat right at the beginning of the innings about Akeal Hussain and whether or not West Indies were getting best value out of him despite his brilliance in the power play. Whether or not he could be a wicket taker for them in the middle and in the main part of the run chase. So accurate is he, so clever is he, that he picks them up any time you ask. Mosley goes for 8, 1, 2, 3 for 6. It's getting twitchy.
The big hitting Jamie Overton, very strong down the ground. Now Zari Joseph has 1 available to him. Shepherd has 1 available to him. Who goes next one?
Mosley looking to deal in boundaries. There's a big gap there for him to knock it through for 1, but he wanted 4. Caught a decent piece of it. Hetmeyer on this occasion smothered it, and it stayed in the hands.
Three runs off the over and the wicket. 1, 2, 5, 4, 6. They've been much better, the West Indies, with the ball. Alzarri Joseph came back into the 11. One of a couple of changes the West Indies made, one of 3 changes. Picked up a wicket. And now he's back. He's got a deep, wide third. A deep point and 3 deep fielders on side. You know that Livingston's going to look to play big shots.
It's been contrasting innings with the brilliant 100 he scored in Antigua. It's been a lot more frantic, a lot more trigger happy in terms of the big shot today. He's got away with it 3 times.
Ouch. Nadelhurt tried to go Yorker.
Yeah, now Alzarri Joseph, Livingston is thinking about the short wide ball or the wide delivery, and Alzarri tried to outfox him with a slower ball off cutter in at the stumps. Missed his mark and paid.
Year again.
The world's greatest sport awaits its newest stage as fight night like no other.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
The top 2 go off the road. Massive spin in the middle of the pack. Whoa! Into the barriers.
Back on the streets.
Charles Leclerc, absolutely brilliant. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Viva Las Vegas. That's entertainment.
Might be the greatest.
The world's greatest sport awaits its newest stage as fight night like no other.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
The top two go off the road. Massive spin in the middle of the pack. Whoa! Into the barriers.
Back on the streets.
Charles Leclerc, absolutely brilliant. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Viva Las Vegas. That's entertainment.
We're kicking off Will College football. It is that time of year again.
Among the many, you'll find the rare few. No ordinary humans.
Right arm over.
Terence Hines, who's picked up his first T20 international wicket of Sam Curran with 2 required from the last over. We're hoping for a miracle. Be an emotional time for Hines, who's lost 4 or 5 family members to COVID, etc. At a belated age, he's come into international cricket.
Scores a level. The West Indies have fought hard here. It's the only game in the series so far to go to the 20th over. England pulverised them in the first 2 matches in Barbados. And you can't help but thinking, those 2 gentlemen up there in the West Indies dressing room, can't help but thinking that with a bit more grey matter involved in the batting, that this one might well have been even closer. Rayan Ahmed goes over the top. 1 bounce 4. And series wins that have been few and far between for England under the captaincy of Jos Buttler have picked up an excellent win here against the West Indies. It's not been a happy hunting ground for them by any stretch in the last couple of years, but they have finished this one off emphatically. And for the West Indies, it's time for a bit of deep thought and reflection as to where they go from here in the last 2 matches here in St Lucia.
Getting different players to stand up with the bat throughout the T20 International Series has been integral for Jos Buttler. Salt's 100, Buttler himself with the bat in the second one. I'd be very happy. I thought his leadership, his attacking captaincy was as integral in this game to getting early wickets of Evan Lewis, of Shea Hope by the run-out route, of Nicholas Puran. Creating pressure was instrumental in the decisive game as we look at it now in the series to win by 3 wickets.
Yeah, agreed. We're looking at a Jos Buttler 2.0 in terms of his captaincy. 4 months out of the game, a bit of reflection as to how he wanted to go about it, how he wanted to lead England teams. If you remember, he took over from Owen Morgan